It's Aimee, and in this video I will be setting up my December spreads for this year. I'll have my Doodle 9 Challenge doodles on the left page and my cover page on the right page to save some space. The end of the year is usually the craziest time of the year for me. It's always filled with holiday events and busy schedules, so setting up my bullet journal is usually the least of my worries. However, I wanted to make sure that I finish up this year with a bang and be on time for my plan with me. I start off by lining my doodles with my go-to micron pen. I used a black micron pen for the streamers that go around the tree as a placeholder for the gold accents I will be adding there. I went with a typical holiday related theme this year because I struggled with thinking of a unique theme, which I tend to do for December. Once the line work was completed, I used my Tombow markers to color in the trees and decorations. If I am ever in a rush to finish off my spreads, these markers are always the way to go. Simply picking out a color and not having to worry about mixing or layering is why they are usually my go-to art supplies. With the new year coming in hot, I really wanted to keep these spreads somewhat simple and not too crazy like last month. I plan on recording 3 more videos before the holidays, so it's a bit of a time crunch right now for me. After coloring everything in, I went in with my Coloro Pearl watercolors to paint the gold on top of the black pen outline. It was a bit of a struggle to keep the lines as thin as the black outline, but it didn't turn out too bad, I think. To be a bit extra, I added some gold on the ornaments as well. I'm still debating on whether or not that was a mistake. With the cover page completed, we move on to the calendar and content planner. I saw a tracker that @Kawana Art did for her September theme, and I loved how she incorporated her trackers into her doodle. Using the similar concept, I drew presents as the doodle and used that as my calendar and for the other tasks. I'll be honest, this is one of those moments where when I sketched this layout, I was excited for it, and then when it came down to coloring it in, I wasn't too happy with the result. There was just too much blank space that made it meh for me, but it would have been overloaded if I added anything else to it, unfortunately. After coloring everything in, I write in the headers for each section with a gold gel pen. Using the gel pen probably wasn't the best option because when I flipped the page over, it left an imprint on the calendar page, but nothing a little whiteout can't fix. This next spread is my favorite out of the other ones. Ever since I did a background design on my November spread, I wanted to somewhat recreate it again using Christmas light bulbs. I also switched up my habit tracker layout and added a brain dump section on the bottom, mainly because I didn't know what to fill the rest of the empty space with. Outlining the doodles made me a bit worried at first, but once I started coloring in the lights, I started to love the end result of this page. The way I blended the colors together from dark to lights gave it somewhat of a watercolor effect, and while I wished it was a bit more realistic looking, I wasn't too upset about it because I wasn't going to try and spend more time on it anyways. It's been a hot minute since I actually used my brush pens for calligraphy. It may have been a bit extra to add more details on the lettering, but I realized how much I miss doing lettering projects after finishing it. I was worried about the brain dump section being too bland too, so I was happy that I decided to be extra. At long last, the final weekly spreads for this month and year. I went with my simple tab layout again for this month to save some time and not have to stress out about what layout and doodles I need to add for each week like last month. As I said before, I really wanted to be ahead of the game before the end of the year comes to a close and focus more on my spreads for next year. Honestly, Dutch Door weeklies have been my lifesaver for this year, and I highly recommend them to anyone who struggles with coming up with weekly layouts or just to save some time in general. Once the outlining of my doodles and cutting out the tabs were done, I moved on to coloring in my doodles. It went by fairly quickly since I already colored in similar doodles throughout the theme and didn't really bother with doing the same thing on the opposite side of each tab. Using a scrap piece of paper, I placed it behind the pages so that I don't accidentally color on the other pages and fill in the empty spaces with red and a lighter coral color. To somewhat match the other tabs, I used a white gel pen to create a white border around the last doodle. To give some color to the menu section, I added some yellow on every other line and filled in the dividers for each day with a light color that correlated with the tabs. Since I enjoyed using my brush pens on the other spread, I decided to do the same for each day of the week. And with that, the year 2024 comes to an end. I started this YouTube journey in 2023 with my shorts, and this year my goal was to do full plan with me videos. Even though it took me until April to get the courage to record my voice and post them, I am happy that I can say that I completed my goal in the end. It has been quite a journey and a lot more work than I expected, but it has been a lot of fun. I truly do thank you for watching, and I hope that my videos have given you some inspiration for your own creations. I have been able to connect with so many amazing artists, and it really is a blessing to be part of such a warm-hearted community. I wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. I hope to see you in the next year. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.